One snowy morning, Elsa noticed glowing snowflakes leading to North Mountain. With Anna and Olaf, she followed the trail to a glacier. Touching it, a passage opened, revealing a diamond-like tunnel. Inside, a crystal floated, whispering, "Only true love can awaken what sleeps within." Holding hands, Elsa and Anna filled the chamber with warmth, transforming it into a breathtaking ice garden. Frozen flowers sparkled, and crystal creatures danced. A gentle voice echoed, "Your love has awakened me. Protect this magic, and it will protect Arendelle forever." As they left, the glacier closed, leaving glittering snow. Anna giggled. "Well, that was one cool mystery." Elsa laughed. "Yes, but it reminds me that love is the strongest magic of all," Olaf added. "And don't forget snacks." They returned home, their hearts glowing under the starry sky. Every century, a wish candle appears. Princess Elena, with her cat Miso, sought it in a skyship. They faced storms, islands, and a city of mirrors. Finding the candle, Elena was tempted by power, but wished for rain for a drought-stricken village instead. The candle granted her wish, and a spirit said, "You have passed. True wishes are made for others." In a village near an enchanted forest lived two sisters, Lila and Mira. Lila was kind and helpful, while Mira was selfish and rude. One day, Lila met an old woman in the forest who asked for a drink. Lila kindly offered her water, and as a reward, every time Lila spoke, diamonds and flowers fell from her mouth. Mira, jealous, sought out the old woman herself, but when asked for water, she refused rudely. As punishment, every time Mira spoke, toads and snakes fell from her mouth. When the king heard of Lila's gift, he invited her to live in the palace, impressed by her kindness. Mira learned that kindness brings beauty, while rudeness brings ugliness.
Long ago, in the kingdom of Leora, the princesses were known not just for their crowns and gowns, but for their kindness and bravery. One sunny morning, Princess Ella, Princess Rose, and Princess Lila went for a walk in the enchanted forest. Birds sang sweet tunes, and butterflies twirled in the warm air. Suddenly, they heard a faint rustling behind the tall ferns. "Did you hear that?" whispered Princess Rose. Out stepped a small unicorn, silver as moonlight, with a shimmering horn that sparkled faintly. But instead of prancing proudly, the unicorn kept its head low and shuffled its hooves nervously. "Oh my goodness, a unicorn!" gasped Princess Lila, her eyes wide with wonder. But the unicorn hid behind the trees, too shy to come closer. The princesses exchanged glances. "She looks frightened," said Princess Ella softly. "We must show her she has nothing to fear." They sat gently on the forest floor, humming a lullaby instead of rushing forward. The unicorn peeked out, her ears twitching. "My name is Luna," she whispered at last, her voice trembling like a breeze. "I've always been too shy to meet anyone. Everyone expects unicorns to be bold and magical, but I'm afraid I'll never be good enough." Princess Rose placed a hand over her heart. "Luna, being brave doesn't mean never feeling scared. It means trying, even when you are." Princess Lila plucked a daisy and held it out. "You don't need to be like anyone else. You're special just as you are." Slowly, Luna stepped forward and accepted the flower. As she did, her horn glowed brighter than ever. The forest sparkled with tiny lights, as if the trees themselves were clapping. "You see?" said Princess Ella with a smile. "Your magic shines when you believe in yourself." From that day on, Luna was never alone. With the princesses as her friends, she learned to gallop proudly and share her magic with the kingdom. And whenever she felt timid again, she remembered, courage lives in every heart, even the quietest ones. Bathed in golden sunlight, young Cinderella joyfully skips through the meadow with her mother. Laughter echoes as they gather wildflowers, their bond deepening with each shared moment. The mother's gentle wisdom fills the air. "Always be kind, my sweet child. Kindness will guide you." Young Cinderella listens intently, absorbing her mother's loving guidance. Their figures are silhouetted against the radiant meadow, a portrait of pure, unconditional love. Years drift by, and shadows lengthen in Cinderella's home as she sits vigil by her mother's bedside. Her mother's voice, a gentle whisper in the fading light. "Stay kind and good, and I will always be close to you in your heart." In a moment of quiet surrender, the mother peacefully departs, leaving a void in the dimly lit room. Cinderella weeps, clutching a small wooden bird, a tangible echo of her mother's love. A year has passed, and Cinderella's home transforms with the arrival of her father, his new wife, and her daughters. Grace and Giselle enter Cinderella's home, their expressions dripping with scorn as they cast disdainful glances at Cinderella. Stepmother follows, her eyes locking onto Cinderella with undisguised disdain. Stepmother declares she'll be helping around the house. Cinderella stands silently, absorbing the shift in her home's atmosphere as her stepfamily settles in. In the heart of the kitchen, Cinderella tirelessly scrubs the floor, her movements mechanical and weary. Grace and Giselle parade through the kitchen, their laughter echoing cruelly as they mock Cinderella. With deliberate malice, Grace spills a handful of lentils into the ashes, creating a messy trap for Cinderella. "Look at Cinderella, covered in soot!" Grace sneers, her voice dripping with disdain. Cinderella sighs deeply, her shoulders slumping in resignation as she faces yet another task. Without complaint, Cinderella begins to clean up the spilled lentils, her movements precise and efficient despite her weariness. Cinderella stands in solemn silence before her mother's grave, where a hazel tree flourishes, a testament to enduring love. With gentle hands, Cinderella waters the base of the tree, a silent offering of love and remembrance. A pure white bird descends, landing gracefully on a branch, its feathers as white as fresh snow. "I miss her so much." The bird drops a comforting flower into Cinderella's waiting hand. A royal proclamation lands on the worn table, signaling a chance at destiny. Grace and Giselle erupt in delight, envisioning a life of royalty and splendor. "Cinderella, fetch my best silk gown," Grace demands, her dreams of grandeur taking hold. "Stepmother, may I attend the festival?" Cinderella asks, her voice filled with a glimmer of hope. "You? In that old smock? Impossible?" Stepmother retorts, crushing Cinderella's aspirations with a cruel task. Grief overwhelms Cinderella as she races towards the silent graveyard, her heart pounding with sorrow. Her voice, trembling with emotion, shatters the stillness as she cries out, "Little bird, can you help me?" she pleads, her voice cracking with desperation. The silent graveyard amplifies her desperate plea. The hazel tree looms. Under the moon's ethereal glow, Cinderella kneels before her mother's grave, her form shaking with repressed sobs as the carriage disappears. Her voice breaks the silence. "Oh, if only I could go to the ball." A flutter of wings heralds the impossible. A white bird descends, bearing a gown of spun gold and silver and delicate silk slippers. Cinderella stares in disbelief, her eyes reflecting the shimmering light. A gasp escapes her lips as magic fills the air. The transformation begins. Cinderella makes her grand entrance into the ballroom, immediately capturing every eye. The prince, utterly enchanted, sets his sights solely on Cinderella. He takes her hand. Together, they glide into a dance, oblivious to the dazzled onlookers. Unrecognized, Cinderella's stepfamily watches with envy, blind to the true identity of the radiant woman. A distant chime begins to echo through the ballroom, an ominous sign. Narration: midnight approaches. In Cinderella's humble home, the prince stands tall, his decree echoing with royal resolve. "I will marry the woman whose foot fits the golden slipper." Grace contorts her foot, forcing it into the slipper, but the golden promise remains elusive. Giselle's desperate attempt mirrors Grace's failure, the slipper rejecting her as well. As two doves flutter down, Cinderella steps forward, her movements gentle as she places her foot into the golden slipper. In the sun-drenched courtyard, the prince, every inch the noble hero, tenderly helps Cinderella mount his majestic steed. Her stepmother and stepsisters watch with twisted faces, their envy a palpable force in the air. As they ride past the hazel tree, a white bird bursts into song, its melody a joyful serenade to their love. The prince turns to Cinderella, his eyes mirroring a love as pure and boundless as the sky above. At the altar in the grand hall, Cinderella and the prince stand united, sunlight painting the scene through stained glass. Grace and Giselle enter hesitantly, their faces reflecting deep regret. Cinderella offers forgiveness. "We all make mistakes." Cinderella and the prince lived happily ever after, her kindness echoing throughout the kingdom.
Long after peace returned to Arendelle, Elsa and Anna discovered secrets in the enchanted forest. One night, a strange glow appeared, calling to Elsa. They journeyed with Kristoff, Olaf, and Sven into the forest, finding a crystal cavern. Inside, they learned of a restless crystal spirit whose uncontrolled energy could shatter the land. Elsa tried to calm the spirit, but it resisted, creating a storm. Anna stood by Elsa, Kristoff shielded them, and Olaf brought laughter. Their bond softened the spirit's anger, bringing peace to the cavern. The spirit gifted Arendelle a crystal heart, symbolizing unity. Back at the castle, they placed it, a reminder of their adventure and the power of family. Olaf joked, and everyone laughed under the dancing lights. In a cozy cottage, an old woman baked a gingerbread man. As soon as she opened the oven, he jumped out, shouting, "Run, run, as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man." The old woman and man chased him, but he was too fast. He met a cow who wanted to eat him, but he ran on, singing his rhyme. Next, a horse tried to catch him, but he escaped again. He reached a river, and a sly fox offered to help him cross. The gingerbread man climbed onto the fox's tail, then its back, and finally, its head. In the middle of the river, the fox tossed his head and ate the gingerbread man in one bite. The old woman and man decided to bake a dozen more. In Rosabella, the Royal Charm School taught girls kindness, courage, and grace. Ella Bloom, a cheerful girl from Silver Lake, received an invitation. At the school, she met girls like Lady Priscilla. One day, the royal crown of kindness went missing. Ella found a pixie who wanted to make it shine. She returned the crown, telling the truth. The headmistress declared, "A true princess is measured by honesty and kindness." Ella was crowned Princess of Heart, teaching that real charm shines from within. Lady Priscilla applauded, acknowledging Ella as the most charming princess.